films and fermentation, movies and inebriation, films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libations, films and fermentation, with Leo, Kev, Man, and Mike.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Films and Fermentation. We are starting off spooky season. It's October as we begin recording the next few episodes. That is why our theme song today was on the slightly creepy side. We're going to be doing some Halloween-themed episodes the next few weeks, starting with tonight, episode 167, which we have titled Celebrity Vampires. I'll explain that in a little bit. In the meantime, as I said, we are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends like talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, we're talking about celebrities who've played bloodsuckers on screen and the ones who seem suspiciously ageless off of it. Seriously, has anyone checked on Keanu Reeves or Sandra Bullock lately? From the fanged fiends of Hollywood to the stars who might have a secret stash of immortality serum, we're sinking our teeth into it all. So grab your garlic bread and a glass of something red. This episode is immortal. If I sound a little strange tonight, folks, it's because I had a tooth extracted this morning and my mouth was really sore, and I didn't realize how hard that intro was going to be to read. It was like a lot of tongue twisters in there, and I'm a little like saliva-y right now. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or going to teespring.com to buy some of our merchandise. You can now text us at 904-867-4466. That's the Films and Fermentation text line. You can send us comments, questions, recommendations. If you have a drink you'd like us to try or a movie you want us to watch, let us know about it.
Our fax number is 609.
You can message us by Morse code at
if you're on AIM.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I have binoculars. I will see the smoke signals.
You can find us at Films and Fermentation at AOL.com. If you can't get enough of your good friend Leo, you can check out my guest appearance on the Back to the Blockbuster podcast in the next week or so. I'm going to be going on there to discuss John Carpenter's The Fog with them in the next few days. That's coming up soon. And I'd like to announce that my first novel, Isolation, is now available for purchase at Barnes & Nobles and Amazon.com as an ebook, print, as a hardcover book, and as a paperback. That is Isolation, a novel by Leo Cittadini. Please enjoy.
It's a cookbook.
Yes.
Is it on Audible yet so I can listen to it while I drive?
Is it on Audible yet? You can purchase it on Kindle on Amazon. I don't know if it's available as an audiobook. I might have to record it myself. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. What are we drinking tonight, people?
I'll go first.
I'll go last. Yeah. Ahead,
I am drinking tonight. I am enjoying some Southern Tears Brewing Company Caramel Pumpkin Imperial Ale, 8.6% alcohol by volume.
Ooh, that
sounds good.
Tasty.
It does look tasty. Yeah, what do you got going on?
I took a page out of Mike's book, and I'm drinking Southern Tears Brewing Company, the original Pumpkin Imperial Pumpkin Ale with 8.6% alcohol by volume. This was purchased for me by my sister-in-law, who I need to be, thanking for her watching our dog while we had our extended stay in the hospital. And she came by and she's like, you said, we got to, or Eli was drinking through your beer, so I figured I'd reply. I was like, you've already done so much for me. You do not need to do anything more, but I'll gladly accept it. So
They both sound really good. I'm
Mhm.
going with a mixed drink tonight. It's 2 shots of hydrogen and 1 shot of oxygen, and I believe the recipe book called it water.
Water. You're from Philly.
Not water.
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 I'm drinking water.
Water.
So, as I mentioned already, I had dental surgery earlier today, and my mouth's a little sore. And on top of that, I have to get blood work in the morning, so I'm fasting now. So, for the first time in 167 episodes, I am not drinking alcohol.
I am the winner.
And Kevman is the winner since Mike's already had to do this for being on call a few times. Kevin is the only one who has been
drinking
consistently drunk through every episode. Congratulations, sir.
My liver thanks you. Actually, my liver doesn't thank you.
But your kidneys might.
Yeah. Does anything happen this week, Mike?
This week in film history, John Amos, the Emmy-nominated actor known for his roles on ABC's groundbreaking miniseries Roots and Good Times, has died. He was 84.
He was the father of the love interest in Coming to America.
Yeah, McDowell's.
Right. Yeah, McDowell's. He was the owner of
Golden
McDowell's.
Arches. The Golden Arch.
Yeah, the Golden Arch. It's funny because I think it happened like we recorded last week and talked about Maggie Smith and who else passed away last week? It was Maggie Smith, Chris Christopherson, and this was like the day after this was announced, and I was like, "Shit!"
It was announced. It was confirmed by his son, but it happened like back in August.
Oh wow! I didn't see that part. I just saw the announcement the day after we did that episode. So, what do you got next there, sir?
1941, The Maltese Falcon, directed by John Huston, and based on Dashiell Hammett's 1929 novel of the same name, starring Humphrey Bogart and Mary Astor, premieres in New York City.
Wasn't the Maltese Falcon the beginning of what's that thing? The icon in a movie that's just there as a
It's the I know what you mean. It's the original MacGuffin.
MacGuffin, that's it.
Yeah, it's the original MacGuffin. It's like the thing that exists simply to move the plot forward.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and it's also one of the earliest detective kind of movies too, like film noir kind of films. What you got next there, Mike?
1957, The Bridge on the River Kwai, directed by David Lynn and starring William Holden and Alec Guinness, is released. Academy Award Best Picture, 1958.
It also won the Academy Award for Best Actor for Alec Guinness in 1958. And it's the movie that gave us the famous because it happens a lot in that film. That song.
It's also the first film where you hear Guinness say, "You'll never find an area where it's filming villainy. You must be cautious."
He also said, "Hello there."
What's your next one there, sir?
1968 cult zombie film, Night of the Living Dead, directed by George A. Romero and starring Dwayne Jones and Judith DeLee, premieres in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yes, Night of the Living Dead and a million zombie movies have followed since then.
But the evolution of the zombie had changed from this to what we see now.
Oh yeah, because this one was like they were still sort of human looking. They were just dead people.
Yeah, and they moved at a slow pace, glacial pace. It was like
they're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah.
What do you got next, Sarah?
In 1978, film adaptation of Ira Levin's novel The Boys from Brazil, starring Gregory Peck and Laurence Olivier premieres.
Was
I
this
know
a World War II movie?
I was going to say, I know absolutely nothing about this film.
I think it's a World War II movie.
I think it is
Might
too.
be.
I just did it because of the stars. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
I think this is
Gregory
about the
Peck and
Nazis who escaped. Was it the boys from Brazil or the boys? Yeah,
Boys from Brazil.
he's
Yeah.
from Brazil,
from Brazil.
1978.
I think it's about the Nazis that escaped trial. A Nazi hunter in Paraguay discovers a sinister and bizarre plot to rekindle the Third Reich. Interesting.
This actually sounds pretty good. I might check this out.
Yeah.
Have
It's
to
got
find this
Gregory
one.
Peck and Laurence
I-
Olivier.
Steve Gutenberg's in it.
Steve Gutenberg!
Hey, Goo!
Wait, this is an awesome cast. This is Gregory Peck, Laurence Olivier, James Mason, Uta Hagen, who's like a legendary like film professor,
Mhm.
Steve Gutenberg, Rosemary
Aunt
Harris.
May.
Who played Aunt
How,
May.
how old is Gutenberg? Like 10?
I know, he's got to be a kid in this film. Denholm Elliott's in it. I mean, this is yeah. I'm gonna have to find this film and watch it because I don't know anything about it. Sounds good. What do you got next, sir?
1987, The Last Emperor, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci.
Bertolucci. Yeah.
And starring John Lone, Joan Chen, and Peter O'Toole. Premieres in Tokyo Film Festival, Best Picture, 1988.
This is like one of those movies I think that beat out another movie that probably should have been the winner that year.
It's a movie that no one saw that beat out a movie that everybody saw.
I mean, it's usually the case at most Oscars. I'm trying to find the winners here so I can say because I remember it being like one of those years where a movie won. Here it is, Best Picture, 1988. Last Emperor won. It was up against Moonstruck, Fatal Attraction, Broadcast News, and Hope and Glory. I think Moonstruck, Fatal Attraction, and Broadcast News probably all had an edge over Last Emperor, but Last Emperor won. And what's your last one that you got there? Sorry, this was just announced.
This was just announced. I saw it today, so I put it on. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman will host the 2025 Oscars. I might actually watch the Oscars this
I
week.
might watch it too because that might be. I'm curious to see if they come out as like Wolverine and Deadpool in tuxedos,
Or at least picturing like them.
Yeah. So it's funny because this comes on the cusp of an announcement I saw the other day that Disney is submitting Ryan Reynolds for Best Actor at the Oscars and Hugh Jackman for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars for Deadpool and Wolverine. They are not going to make the ballot. It's like a definite they're not going to make the ballot, but I just think it's funny that they submitted them anyway.
Might as well.
Yeah. That'd be funny though if they do get nominated and hosting.
They'll get the popular vote, that's for sure.
Yeah, it would definitely get the if the popular vote meant anything at the Oscars. Yeah,
Yeah, the popular vote meant anything in any kind of election anymore.
Yeah. Do you have a must try beer or craft destination for this evening, Mike?
I must try beer. I found this after we did our last episode, so in memory of Chris Christopherson, I'm going to tell you about the Highwayman Pilsner from Roadhouse Brewing Company, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. There is a floral note to this bright gold 4% alcohol by volume Pilsner that's mostly perfumey, but it's joined by a nice Pils malt flavor on the palate, along with a chewy malt sweetness that's unexpected for such a light brew. There's not much bitterness here, but a medium dryness that almost erases the mid-palate malt sweetness. It's hard to believe this pint of chunky Pilsner is only 110 calories and 90 carbs. If you're looking to slim out your beer drinking lifestyle, you can find a more delicate way to do it than with this Pilsner.
So it's a diet beer, is what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what it looks. It's a Pilsner, but it doesn't say light. But apparently, it's light.
Every time I hear the words Jackson Hole, Wyoming,
I know.
I think to myself, I wouldn't believe that was a real place if they didn't give it away as a prize on The Price is Right almost every day.
It's telling you we need to make a road trip out to Jackson Hole.
Yeah, Jackson Hole.
Another beer.
I hear Nolan in the background there, Kev. Apparently, he's trying to let you know that you have some beer news to tell us tonight.
I do.
Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. And soft. Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. Let's go drink some beer.
Drink some beer. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Just a couple stories today, ladies and gentlemen. Beer lovers are crediting Jimmy Carter for the brewing interest in home and craft breweries. Jimmy Carter, the former president who celebrated his 100th birthday, is being held as one who helped revive America's craft beer industry. As former President Jimmy Carter celebrates his 100th birthday, beer lovers throughout America have more options than ever before thanks to a piece of legislation he signed into law. The legality of home brewing and the flourishing craft beer industry is in large part a testament to Carter, who famously eschewed most alcohol because of his Southern Baptist beliefs. With the stroke of President Carter's pen, the enactment of H.R. 1337 fueled nationwide interest in home brewing, which in turn set the stage for the first generation of small brewery owners. Brewers Association CEO Bob Pease told Fox News Digital via email this week. The Brewers Association is a Colorado-based trade organization with a mission to promote and protect American craft brewers, their beers, and their community of brewing enthusiasts, according to the website. It is an organization that likely would not exist had Carter not signed H.R. 1337 into law. H.R. 1337, which was signed on October 14th, 1978, stated that any adult who would be permitted to produce wine and beer for personal and family use and not for sale without incurring the wine or beer excise taxes or any penalties for up to 200 gallons brewed. The first generation of post-1978 home brewers forged the path for the modern craft beer movement.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit.
Thank you. Forged the path for the modern craft beer movement and the more than 9,300 breweries in the U.S. today, Pease noted. The brewery community is grateful to President Jimmy Carter, and his legacy lives on in every batch of beer brewed, he said. The nascent home brewing and craft beer industry grew exponentially following the 1978 federal legalization of the practice.
Apparently, he's allergic to this topic right now. It's the peanuts from Carter.
I
was going to say, so what you're saying is he's not just a peanut farmer.
That's essentially what it is. Look, the man opened up craft beers, which we've all enjoyed, by signing HR 1337 into law. And I, for one, am one that have a craft brewery kit that my wife got me that is still sitting in the basement, forgotten. Every time I think about it,
Quaker Rage!
Quaker Rage is on the books. My mother once said that Jimmy Carter was one of the best ex-presidents this country ever had. And I can see why. Good guy.
He liked beer.
He liked beer. All right. In other news, this is kind of a moot point when you consider that the strike has been postponed, effective today. But the dock worker strike that was supposed to take place or started 3 days ago would have affected fresh fruit, beer, wine, and alcohol supply. Yes. The dock workers strike took place 3 days ago. The picket lines and historic U.S. port strike. Analysts warn that a lengthy shutdown could impact consumer prices if it lasts beyond the next week or two. The 14 critical ports from Maine to Texas are shut down due to International Longshoremen Association's union dock workers who walked off the job early Tuesday. It would have affected things like groceries, particularly fresh produce, which accounts for up to 75% of the nation's banana supply. Sorry about that, Mike. According to the American Farmer Bureau Federation, perishable foods would also mean retailers would be unable to stock up ahead of time and thus see potential shortages. And like I said, this is kind of a moot point right now. It's been put on hold temporarily until mid-January, I think January 15th, 2025. And they have
Wait till after the holidays.
they have a partial, compromise worked out until then. So I'm just going to
I would still also think that the dock workers would look bad striking, so people can't get their Christmas presents in time.
It could affect the way they look. Yeah.
This just in: The Boys from Brazil is available on Amazon Prime if you have a Prime Video account for free.
All right.
You don't have to rent or buy it.
We could do a viewing party, guys.
Yeah, the Boys from Brazil episode, since not all of us just found out about it tonight. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a quick break to hear a word from Coffee Brothers, and we'll be back with our main segment tonight, Celebrity Vampires.
I love a good beer, but right now, I could use a good cup of coffee.
Have you heard about Coffee Brothers?
Oh, yeah. They're that coffee company out of New York, right?
Well, they're more like a coffee wizards of New York City. They source these amazing seasonal blends and single origin coffees. It's like a flavor adventure in every cup. And get this, they roast everything in small batches. None of that mass-produced stuff. It's like each bean gets the VIB treatment.
VIB?
Very important bean.
Sounds fancy, but is it worth it?
Definitely. Plus, they're a two-person team. I mean, that's dedication right there. Two brothers, one mission to caffeinate the world. And right now, you can save 10% on your order. I mean, who doesn't love a good discount?
All right, you've convinced me. Let's get some Coffee Brothers now.
Coffee Brothers, where every cup is a sip of perfection. Save 10% on your next order with the code FNF10. That's FNF10. Cheers to great coffee. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with us after that quick break. We're here with our main segment tonight. Tonight, we're talking about a topic we call celebrity vampires, and we decided to break this down into two segments. The first one are celebrities who have played vampires on film. And for this one, we just picked out some like signature roles. There are thousands of vampire films out there that have, all over the world. So we kind of picked out just a few that are notable for one reason or another. And then just for shits and giggles, we're going to do a section called Celebrities Who May Be Vampires. These are a list of celebrities who seem to be ageless and beg the question, are they vampires?
Bathing in the blood of babies.
Oh, God forbid. So let's start this segment off right by playing a clip from this little TV show called What We Do in the Shadows. This is a great clip. I love this scene. This is the Council of Vampires, which includes a number of actors and actresses who have played vampires on film, including the original cast of the What We Do in the Shadows movie. Taika Waititi and et al. So let's take a look at this quick clip real quick.
What the blazes is this?
Dark greetings of the night to all members of the Vampiric Council from all the continents gathered here together on Staten Island. On Staten Island.
Welcome, vampires from near and far, to this here Grand Vampiric Council to judge over these three accused. Accused of what, you may ask? Murder.
Vampire murder.
Vampire
sir.
murder.
Vampire murder.
So that's why we're here. I'll now introduce the leaders of the council, starting here with Tilda. Pretty much our leader. She's the one who makes all the big decisions. Welcome, Tilda. I am Viago von Schmarken, Schedenheimberg. This is Deacon Brucker. Hello. Vladislav, the poker. We also have Evan, the immortal princess of the undead.
You don't have to say my whole name. You can just say Evan. It's fine.
Or just Evan. Who else do we have? Danny. Hey, Danny. He's his shirt off as usual. Cool Mexican tattoos all over his chest.
Dark greetings, everyone.
Welcome, Danny. We also have Paul.
Dark greetings, everyone. Dark greetings.
Great to be here.
Rob. What is Rob here?
Couldn't make it.
We couldn't get Rob.
No, I talked to Rob. He didn't want to come. Want to leave it behind.
That's right. No, he didn't want to be here. Kiefer.
I don't see Kiva.
Kiva said he wanted to do it, but he couldn't come.
He was busy.
Tom and Brad.
Tom, not
interested.
Tom and Brad, well,
Not into it.
They're not committed like us.
It's just an availability thing.
Well, who is here?
Calling in via Skype, we have Wesley over there, the day walker. Hey,
Wesley!
Wesley. Look at him then.
God, not this fucking guy.
He is a vampire killer.
hey, he is half a vampire. His opinion still counts.
Yeah, well, I'm only listening to half his opinion. Look at him in the sunlight.
Showing off.
Wesley, can you hear us?
There's a lag.
The Skype seems glitchy.
Hello?
Push the mute button.
It looks like a little microphone. It's got a ring round
Pushing
it.
it.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Dark greetings.
Okay, great. Moving on, as is vampire law, we also have a local vampire here on the council this evening, Colin Robinson.
Hello.
What the fuck are you doing here?
Okay, now,
So why are we gathered on Statty Island?
Because one of our brothers has passed from this world, Baron Aphonas, also known as the Undying One. Well, he died. That's why we're here.
Call the witness.
Yeah, dying one. Well, he died. That's why we're
He's
here.
over here. You got
Tom and
Tilda.
Brad, they're trying to put that behind them.
So it's like it was they named Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Robert Pattinson, and Kiefer Sutherland couldn't make it.
It's a scheduling thing. And
Like,
then you got Wesley
Robert wants to
Snipes.
put it behind him.
Right.
Wesley Snipes and Evan Rachel. I hate that fucking.
I just find it like great. Like they couldn't get Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. They were able to get Tilda Swinton, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, Tilda Swinton. Danny Trejo. was
She
great.
played a
You
vampire.
know what?
Yes,
Danny should probably be on the list we have later on.
for like guys that never aged. Danny Trejo. Yeah. There's Danny with his shirt off as usual. Cool Mexican tattoos. She has played a vampire in a film. I'm like trying to remember which one it was. Let's see, Tilda Swinton, vampire.
You know, she played the Archangel Michael in Constantine. But that's neither here
Yeah.
nor there.
She was in a vampire film called Only Lovers Left Alive.
Oh,
Never heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it, but I've heard of it. It came out in 2013. It's about a depressed musician who reunites with his lover. However, their romance, which has already endured several centuries, is disrupted by the arrival of her uncontrollable younger sister. So it's about, like, I guess, vampires in a complicated relationship. So the vampires are played by Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston.
I don't
interesting.
Interesting. Here's our list of celebrities who have played vampires in film. I have film clips for a few of these. I didn't do one for everything because there's a lot. So I just did. I picked out like a few like that were. I felt like sort of like signature scenes. So there are a million actors who have played Dracula in film, but some of the most notable ones are, of course, Bela Lugosi, who is probably best known as like the original Dracula from the 1930s Universal films. We actually did a Universal monster recasting for Halloween one year. You should check out that episode. You got Gary Oldman in Francis Ford Coppola's version of Dracula.
Could he be a vampire? Because you never know if he ages because he always looks different every time you see him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's always hidden behind makeup. So how do you know? Also, there are the Hammer films, which star Christopher Lee and Frank Langella mostly as the vampire Dracula. Nick Cage I put on there because it's Kevin's favorite actor, who played Dracula in the Renfield film recently. And I had to put this on there just because we talked about this film last Halloween, Monster Squad, and Duncan Regar as as Dracula. No, if you'd like to hear us shit all over a film we loved as kids, check out that previous episode.
Werewolf has nards.
Werewolf has nards. So I have two clips here. They are Bela Lugosi and Gary Oldman doing the same line, and just different interpretations of it. The line is "Children of the night, what sweet music they make." Here's Bela Lugosi.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
What the music they make.
Here's Gary Oldman's interpretation of it. A little different.
Listen to them. The children of the night. What sweet music they
make.
His was decidedly a little more Romanian.
Just a little bit.
So,
any
correct me if I'm wrong, because we talked about Monster Squad and we talked about like the rights to the monsters were universally owned by Universal, so they had to make changes. The whole reason why Nosferatu was not called Dracula was because they couldn't get the rights from Bram Stoker's estate.
Yes.
Where these movies, the Bela Lugosi and the Gary Oldman, where they were acquired, I guess, the rights by the Bram Stoker's thing.
So like the Bela Lugosi ones were Dracula based on the Bram Stoker novels. Francis Ford Coppola Dracula is actually called Bram Stoker's Dracula because it's supposed to be a little more faithful to the novel than previous versions. I don't know how faithful it is because that movie gets fucking crazy. That is a batshit crazy movie. No pun intended.
Definite pun intended.
Definite pun intended. But yeah, with the Nosferatu silent film, it was a rights issue. Either it was a rights issue or they just decided to totally crib the original story and try to pretend that they were making their own thing because it's basically the Dracula story. Just names have been changed to protect the innocent. I'm looking up the Monster Squad now because I don't remember if Regar is. Yeah, he is. So Duncan Regar is in the credits as Count Dracula. I just wanted to double check that. Another Dracula that I think doesn't get much attention is Leslie Nielsen in Mel Brooks's Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Another guy that's been old as long as I've known him.
Leslie, I don't know if I've ever seen Leslie Nielsen as a young actor. Like, even when he did like the airplane films, he looked like the guy from Police Squad. I put that one in as a goof. It's probably one of the least of Mel Brooks's films. It's definitely not one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other Dracula things they'd like to say, or any actors I missed or anything?
No,
we're good. Okay.
Keith Urban? No, not Keith Urban. No, never.
Keith Urban. Oh, you're thinking of Carl Urban.
Carl Urban.
Yeah, I mean he played a vampire in a film too. So did Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler was in a Dracula film. It was Dracula 2000 or something like that. It was like supposed to be like a future. That one's weird because in that one you find out that Dracula was really Judas Iscariot and he became a vampire after betraying Jesus.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a very weird take on the origin of Dracula.
Eddie Murphy play a vampire or something?
Yeah, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yep. Okay.
Not a great film. I forgot to put that one on the list. I could have put Blackula on there too, I guess, if that's the case.
Well, we want to make sure we are diverse.
We're diversifying.
We're diverse in our picks of movies.
Well, the next one's diverse. Kiefer Sutherland is a very white guy. So I got Kiefer Sutherland and others who star in the film The Lost Boys, one of my favorite vampire
including
films.
Bill from Bill.
Yeah, including the guy that plays Bill in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. The Lorelai's father from Gilmore Girls is the lead vampire. Robert Patrick as the is it Robert Patrick? I can't think of the actor's name.
I think it's Robert Patrick. Yeah,
he plays the main character who the vampires are trying to turn.
You mean Michael?
Boys. Yeah, Michael. I'm trying to think of the actor's name. Jason Patrick.
Jason Patrick.
I think Robert Patrick is the Terminator 1000. T1000. Jason Patrick, Corey Haim, Diane Wiest, Kiefer Sutherland, Ed Herman is Max, the lead vampire.
Corey Feldman, who is a vampire.
Yeah, Corey Feldman. Alex Winter, that's the guy that played Bill. So I have a little clip for this one, and it is of Kiefer in the film The Lost Boys. So I saw something that said that the tear he drops at the end of that scene is real, because it had something to do with like the contacts irritating his eyes. But the way it looked, the director decided to keep it in because it just looked like the tear was from his hand catching on fire. So that brings us to the one that Kevin had already mentioned earlier, Nosferatu, which Nosferatu is a word that means vampire. It's like an ancient, word that they used to use to describe a creature that lives on after death. The original Nosferatu film is from the 1920s. It was a silent film starring an actor named Max Schreck, who played the original Nosferatu named Count Orlok. Count Orlok is basically Vlad Dracula, just name changed, as I said, to protect the innocent. And one of my favorite this is like a new piece of trivia, but I love it, is that Willem Dafoe played Max Schreck in a film called Shadow of the Vampire.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is about the filming of Nosferatu, but the twist in the film is that Max Schreck is an actual vampire. And so the director, W.D. Murnau, is filming Nosferatu with a real vampire. So he's basically filming like a snuff film, because every time somebody gets killed on film, it's a person actually getting killed by the vampire. And then when the Nosferatu is defeated at the end of the film, he bursts into flames from sunlight. It's Max Schreck actually bursting into flames from sunlight because he's a real vampire. And it's a really cool movie. It's an interesting movie. It stars, like I said, Willem Dafoe, and also stars John Malkovich as the director.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah, it's a good movie. And then now there's a Nosferatu reboot starring Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok. And Willem Dafoe was in this film. So I think it's funny that he was in a film about the filming of Nosferatu and now is in Nosferatu. Willem Dafoe might be a vampire.
No,
I'm gonna play. Yeah, so I'm gonna play. He's actually just the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play the trailer for the new Nosferatu film that's going to be coming to theaters soon.
Come to me. Come to me. I've never shared my secret with any soul.
You've had these spells since childhood. Tell me what you can from the beginning.
It is like a dream. It was our wedding. When we turned around, everyone was dead. The stench of their bodies was horrible. Standing before me was death. But I'd never been so happy.
This creature is a force more powerful than evil. Its desire is to consume all life on Earth.
Only you can redeem us. He is coming.
There is a devil in this world, and I have met him.
But he could never please me as he could. I'm ready.
I really like how they don't show you what he looks like as the vampire.
No,
I'm assuming it's going to be something similar to the original look, but I like that they're keeping it secret.
This is Robert Eggers who's done this, and his shit, his movies freak me out, man.
The most recent movie he did was with Willem Dafoe that I've seen is The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse, yeah,
and that's a weird fucking movie.
Yeah,
I like how they decided to come out at Christmas with this movie.
Yeah, I know. Christmas.
It's a Christmas movie.
Family favorite.
This is a really stacked cast, man. It's Bill Skarsgård, as I said, is playing Count Orlok. He's recently played Pennywise in the It films. Willem Dafoe plays Professor Alban Eberhard von Franz, which is basically the Nosferatu version of Van Helsing.
Van Helsing.
Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp is the young girl you've seen in the trailer. Emma Corrin, who was in Deadpool and Wolverine, she was the bald chick. Xavier's sister, I can't remember the character's name.
Yes.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, who Kevin and I saw in Bullet Train.
Mm-hmm.
He was Tangerine.
Quicksilver.
He's Quicksilver.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a really cool cast. I'm looking forward to this. I actually might make the trip to the theater to try to watch that one. From one classic vampire tale to another, we have Interview with the Vampire
with Tom Cruise.
With Tom Cruise, I made a typo there. Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst, and Antonio Banderas. Probably the best of the Anne Rice vampire films. I don't like any of the other ones that really followed. This was a really good interpretation. Have either of you watched the TV show version?
I have not. I know it's doing pretty well though.
I think it's in like its second or third season now.
Yeah.
I'm curious about it. I haven't watched any of it, but I do. I really like this film.
Oh yeah.
And I thought Tom Cruise was an interesting choice for the character, but did a pretty good job in it.
Mm-hmm.
Early film for Antonio Banderas, early film for Brad Pitt. I think it's Kirsten Dunst's first film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
the classic one.
Adrian hadn't seen it, and I showed it to her.
Mm-hmm.
What did she think?
Not her kind of vampire film.
Apparently not. I mean,
why aren't they glistening?
No, I mean it is a slow burn movie. It's not like it's packed. It's a slow burn. So you got to be ready for that type of vampire movie.
But some of the scenes, though, like the ones like there's certain scenes that are very like memorable that stick with you afterwards, and like I always think like the vampire theater scene in France with Antonio Banderas and all them, like that's an amazing scene. And then him burning down the catacombs. Pretty memorable scene.
Yeah.
Lestat's, quote unquote death when Kirsten Dunst feeds him the dead bodies.
Yeah.
It's like pretty brutal scene.
They ditch him in the swamp or something, and
In
he
the
comes
swamp,
back
yeah.
off of eating rats and alligators.
I'm going to give you the choice that I never had. Next one I have on here is a little known film that it's a really good movie, but it's not like a real well known one. This is actually probably a film that time forgot. It's called Near Dark. It stars Lance Hendrickson and Bill Paxton, and it's kind of like a vampires meet like biker, like kind of. It's hard to describe. It's a really weird sort of niche, like cult film. Small town farmer's son reluctantly joins a traveling group of vampires after he is bitten by a beautiful drifter. And some really brutal. As you can, if you look at the poster for the movie, it's Bill Paxton with a half burned face. So it's a pretty graphic, pretty brutal movie. And just like that one, you have Twilight.
You put Twilight on there, but you didn't put Once Bitten.
Yeah, I put Twilight on there. Yeah, that's right. About Once Bitten is the one with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jim Carrey. Yeah. There's so many, man. It's hard to just kind of narrow it down to a small list. This is something we could revisit at some point, I think. I put Twilight. I actually put Twilight on there as kind of a joke.
It's the sparkly vampires.
These are Adrian's vampires, right? The ones she likes.
No.
Vampires that play baseball during a thunderstorm.
She liked the books. She did, but she was more of an Angel girl.
Yeah. If we talked about TV shows, Angel would be a good one to talk about, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
I do have Buffy the Vampire Slayer the movie on my list.
Yeah, the two are not even. The two are only relative in name.
What did I hear or read recently that the author of the Twilight books was hoping Henry Cavill to play the Robert Patterson. What's his name? Team David or Team Fluffy?
The main vampire guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was some other actress that they had thought of for Bella. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I don't know. I really don't care. I saw the first movie and
you lost me at Sparkly.
I zoned out halfway through the film, and when I kind of came back to it, I was like, why are they playing baseball?
Only during a thunderstorm because I can hide it.
It hides the sound of their
of the cracking bats. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I used to have a poster in my classroom. It was a picture of Shakespeare, and underneath it said talent, because nobody's going to be talking about Stephanie Meyer in 400 years, and she's the author of Twilight. The next one I have is a series that I'm a big fan of, and I know Mike and Kev are both big fans of as well. Maybe I should show the clip first if I can find it. Where the hell's my clip at? Oh, here it is.
For those like me, a death dealer, this signaled the end of an era. Like the weapons of the previous century, we too would become obsolete. Pity, because I lived for it.
Like the movie, hurts my knees every time I watch that scene.
Love the leather.
Love Kate Beckinsale and the leather. So that is.
And nobody looked at her and said, "Yeah, she's overdressed for this scene."
I don't know. Does leather go well in the rain? It'd be very slick. So that is Kate Beckinsale in the Underworld series. I could have put her on the list.
I enjoyed the Underworld series. I liked the story. I got into the first and second one.
Mm-hmm.
And even the third one, which was kind of a prequel, the rise of where it kind of goes into it.
The rise of Atkins.
They couldn't get Beckinsale for the third one.
No, but it was okay because it wasn't. I mean, when they did it, she wasn't supposed to be
alive.
Right. Yeah. It was not her. It was the daughter of Victor, who was supposed to remind him, or Beckinsale reminds him of her, his daughter. But I like the introduction of the war between the Lycan and the vampire.
And then the third one with Beckinsale came out. Kevin went to see it in the theater, and Kevin's exact words afterwards were, "Kate Beckinsale looked pretty good, although she's starting to look her age." At which point I said, "You mean our age?" We are the same age as Kate Beckinsale, and I look nowhere near as good as she does.
No one can.
She's still looking good in leather, and I'm over here wiping drool from the side of my mouth.
That's because you're talking about Kate Beckinsale. That's why you're doing
I have an honorable or dishonorable mention, I should say, for John Carpenter's Vampires of 1998, starring James Woods. I say dishonorable mention because even though I love John Carpenter, one of my favorite directors, this is not a great film. And this is towards the end of his career where his films were starting to decline a little bit. And then one more honorable mention for Rutger Hauer and Paul Rubens in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie from 1992 that led to the series starring Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I brought this one in there because this is one of Mike's favorite scenes. If anybody out there has not seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Paul Rubens, aka Pee Wee Herman, plays a vampire. He gets killed with a stake to the heart. Takes him like 3 minutes to die, and then they cut back to him in the after credit sequence, and he's still dying.
I think he even appeared over the shoulder when he's like,
That clip that I showed was actually the after credit sequence.
Another honorable or dishonorable mention would be From Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn, George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Harvey Keitel, Salma Hayek's one of her early films. Danny Trejo, which is where his vampire character comes from. Dusk Till Dawn is such a weird movie because, like, the first 20 minutes is really good when it's about these two criminals on the run. And then they end up at this bar in Mexico, and all of a sudden there's vampires. And the movie just completely changes directions. And that's because the first 20 minutes was written by Quentin Tarantino, and the last part of it was written by Robert Rodriguez. So it's like it completely changes. So that takes us to our second segment here, which is kind of like just a little bit of a joke, but we thought we'd have fun with this. This is celebrities who we feel may be vampires in real life because they never seem to age. So what I have here, and I'm sorry to people listening, this is a very visual segment here, but I'm going to post up some pictures of some celebrities before and after. So it's like kind of like, pictures that are sort of like 10, 20, 15 years apart, whatever it might be. We'll make some comments on them, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the photos. If you're listening to us, maybe you might want to check out the YouTube videos so you can see these for yourself. But the first one I have on this list,
imagine it.
Yeah, try to imagine, if you will. So the first one I have on the list is Shakira. Where is my picture of her? It's not on
in the bathroom.
Oh, no. Let's go to the second one because he's probably the most famous of the celebrity vampires. While I upload this picture I have of Shakira, and that is Mr. Paul Rudd. So here's my before and after, 1995 and 2021.
I mean, look, you can obviously tell some aging has occurred, but that could just be makeup. That could just be making us believe that he has aged a little. But
I mean, there's a little bit of gray in that beard, but he still looks very youthful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he looks younger than me, and he's older.
Yeah, no, he's fun fact. He's 69.
Yeah,
he's 69 years old.
I know. He's like I think he might be like 50 or in his 50s, and like I'm 47. He looks way better than I do. So yeah, Paul Rudd definitely, possibly
one of my wife's major faves.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fun actor. I enjoy his films, and he is back again on Only Murders in the Building, playing a different character than he was playing in the previous season, which is kind of funny. So
he's 55.
here is he's 55. Wow,
55.
Jesus. So here's the first one I had on the list. I couldn't find a picture. I got it now. Shakira. This one, she's definitely got to be a vampire because, come on now.
Oh, yeah.
In the first picture, she's 29 years old. In the second picture, she's 46 years old. And in both of them, she looks like she's 18.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
her
hips
face
don't lie.
No, her face is a little fuller, but she still looks amazing.
I mean, the hips don't lie, and neither do the pictures. She's... I think she's a vampire. I am so excited for the next one. I can't wait to show this one to you guys.
Well, yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley, who recently at the age of 63 was named Maxim.com's sexiest woman alive. Here is then her role in Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, as Vanessa. And here is now 63 years old, modeling her own bikini line that she sells.
63?
63. Yeah, exactly. Almost makes me want to get out. It almost makes me want to go outside and work out.
Again, though she's in the sunlight, maybe she's like Blade. She's only a half vampire.
Maybe. I mean, come on now.
One of her best movies was
you can't get a moon tan like that.
One of her best movies was Bedazzled.
Oh, she's incredible in Bedazzled.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
where she plays the devil.
Where she plays the devil. Maybe
yes.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe she's the devil.
It is. Maybe she's the devil.
It is. Why am I missing so many pictures? I had all these pictures that I lined up and now they're like gone. So the next one I had was Jared Leto, which the picture I had is missing. But it was a picture of him in My So-Called Life, and then a picture of him in recent with the long hair and the beard and all that, and it looks pretty much exactly the same. I don't know what happened to my picture though.
He looks like Jesus.
He does look like Jesus.
White Jesus.
Jesus is white. What are you talking about?
No,
that was the miracle.
Jesus is a Jew.
Man born in the Middle East.
A Jew.
A Jew. He's from the North Middle East. That's why he had blonde hair and blue eyes. That's why he looked like Ewan McGregor in Attack of the Clones. Next one I have.
He also played a vampire.
Yes, he did. Next one I have here. What's that? Morbius. That should have been on the dishonorable mention list. Yeah. Next one I have is Keanu Reeves. Keanu. Now he definitely looks older in that picture.
He definitely has aged. Yeah.
He looks older, but I mean, if he shaved the beard, he'd only look slightly older.
Yeah, the crow's feet are giving him away in his eyes.
Yeah. The thing that sells it for me though is watching the John Wick films. The man is 60 years old and is still kicking ass like he did in the Matrix. So maybe he may not look as young as he did, but he still moves like a young man. Next one's
and
a good one.
And his co-star.
And his co-star?
Sandra Bullock.
Yes, Sandra Bullock from Speed is the next one on the list. I was saying with John Wick, I just saw the trailer for the spin-off film Ballerina starring Ana de Armas. And I'm definitely in. Here is Sandra Bullock. I got 3 pictures for this one. It's a then, and now. 26, 37, and 57.
I think she's had some work done.
Maybe. I don't know. Still looks pretty good for 57.
Yeah. No, she looks good. She when she came out, her first movie
Man?
No, Speed. I was like the girl I was seeing at the time, way back. I was like, oh, she reminds me of Sandra Bullock a little bit. the young Sandra Bullock. And this was before I had seen her in Love Potion #9. This was before I had seen her in, I want to say it was called The Vanishing. Yeah. So
like you said, her first movie was, I think, Love Potion #9. And when she was in Demolition Man and Speed, which came out like around the same time, those are the films that made her, a household name.
right, she had a very small part in The Vanishing, but it was a very good story. It was, and that was Kiefer Sutherland, and him and his girlfriend were going on a trip. They had an argument.
Yeah.
They had a pit stop, and then she disappears, and he's like searching for her for years. Or
and isn't it Jeff Bridges? I think plays the villain.
Yeah.
That's a remake. There's it's a remake of I want to say like a Dutch film or something of the same name. Yeah. Next one is one that I talk about all the time because she's definitely one of my favorite vampires in Hollywood. Ming-Na Wen.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
She actually may look better older than she did when she was younger.
Yeah, like that's her at the Mulan premiere. And the second picture is her at the premiere of the Book of Boba Fett. Like, come on, man.
Yep.
Definitely. Ming-Na Wen, definitely a vampire. This person, she's still pretty young, so I think that the jury is still out on whether or not she's a vampire. But
she hasn't done anything recently. What are we?
Yeah, she hasn't been in films lately. But the first picture is from Love Actually. She was 18 years old in that photo, and she is now, I think, 38 years old.
She'll be 40 next year.
40, still looking like she's 18. So I put the next one on here because it's one of Mike's favorites. Scarlett Johansson.
Hey.
I made sure I searched for the perfect picture for you, Mike. So that is her at the premiere, I want to say, of
her.
I can't think of it. No, it was earlier than that. I want to say it's that movie
Lost in Translation? No, that's way too early.
That was she was like 17 in that film. What's the one? I can't think of the name of it. It's like He's Just Not That Into You or something like that. I think is the name of the film that she was in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Off the book.
I think that's from the premiere of that film, and then this one is from one of the Avenger movies, which are probably about 10, 15 years apart, maybe. But she's somebody who definitely still doesn't age either. Kevin or Mike added, Mike added this one earlier. This is a different kind of vampire because this is a vampire who has just kind of always been old. And has always looked the same age, and that's Patrick Stewart. I don't think I've ever seen Patrick Stewart with hair.
If you want to go further, you want to go even younger, you should get the picture from him in Excalibur.
Or Dune.
Or Dune. I mean, he looks the same. But
now, you want to see really young Patrick Stewart? Check it. He was in The Lion in Winter.
Yes,
which
he was.
Is like the early 70s or something.
Yeah.
He has hair in that film, but still looks like Patrick Stewart. So you know. And then I added this one recently. This is the last one we have on our list.
Hold on. We're not moving on to
you got
Patrick Stewart yet. Yeah, hold on.
Ahead. What do you got for Patrick?
Hold on. Share screen. The young version of Patrick Stewart.
Okay.
Can you see it?
I'm bringing it up.
Nope.
Oh.
A true vampire. A true vampire.
A true vampire. Yeah, the CGI de-aged from, what was this? Is this Wolverine Origins? I think it was.
Yeah.
I mentioned earlier about big budget movies with terrible CGI. That's one you could probably throw in there. Because DH Patrick Stewart just looks like Patrick Stewart if he was run through some sort of like smoothing machine. So it's like,
I'm wrapped in baby oil.
yeah,
Make it so.
make it so. The last one we have here for celebrity vampires is Salma Hayek, who I have a 4 picture one for her. We got 2011, 2014, 2017, and 2020.
Oh wow!
And I could probably even go back further than that.
Yeah.
Like her first films were in the 90s. Like she did, like we talked about it already with Dusk Till Dawn.
Mm-hmm. And was it Once Upon a Time in Mexico? It was her and Antonio Banderas. Yeah,
she was in 2 of those films. She was in Desperados and Once Upon a Time.
Desperados is the one I was
yeah.
Yeah,
But she was also in the
nothing
second.
compares to her as Serendipity.
Serendipity and
Dogma.
Oh, right. She was the muse.
She was the muse.
If you guys get a chance, it's probably Black Mirror. She's in an episode of Black Mirror, which is funny as hell, and it's crazy to watch. Like she is playing a character, mimicking a character. It's just very good. She still looks amazing in it. Yeah.
Mike, you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I got a beer fact that goes along with what Kevin had in his.
I actually almost said, do you have any beef history for us? It was very close to saying it. I'm on a soft food diet right now, so I'm a little like angry.
So, like Kevin and I are on the same wavelength today because my beer fact has something to do with similar what his news was earlier. In 1933, President Roosevelt signed the Cullen Harrison Act, which amended the Volstead Act, better known as Prohibition, to allow the manufacturing and sale of low alcohol beer, 3.2% alcohol by volume and under. 9 months later, on December 5th, the 21st Amendment was ratified, officially repealing Prohibition federally. Prohibition was still maintained at state and local levels at some locales, however. So we're talking about legalizing of beers.
And you can still find places now that are like dry towns, and
the county I grew up was dry.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's dry county. It's not now, but it was when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
It had one little town in the county that you could buy alcohol, and you couldn't buy alcohol on Sunday until after 1:00.
Okay. Had to go to church first.
Oh, you go to Ocean City, New Jersey. That's still a dry town,
Blue Laws back down south of Bible Belt, they were rough.
No joke.
All right. We have a cinema quote of the week. Kevin, I'd like you to try to do your best impression of this person as you read it, if you can.
Oh, good. Yeah, I can. I'm an actor, not a star. Stars are people who live in Hollywood and have heart-shaped swimming pools. Al Pacino. Hooah!
Hooah! I'm not an actor. I'm a star.
Not a star.
Stars are people who live in Hollywood and have heart-shaped swimming pools. I guarantee you he has a heart-shaped swimming pool.
No, he has an ass-shaped swimming pool. What an ass!
He's a great ass, and you got your head way up it. I was the same person I was 20 years ago. I'd take a flamethrower to this place. How are your drinks this evening, gentlemen? I'm very jealous because your drinks both sounded really good.
Mine was really good.
My first one was great, and I had not switched, but I finished the first one early, so I brought up a bottle of Kentucky Pumpkin Barrel Ale, which I had last week and is still delicious. And between the 10% alcohol by volume on this one
and the
8.6% alcohol on that one,
you might sleep tonight.
Nolan's not getting his 3 a.m. feeding.
I drank water.
How was it?
Refreshing. I should point out.
Was it spring?
Yes,
was it sparkling?
It was tap. I'm not special. I grew up on Schuylkill Punch. I don't need anything like clean.
I grew up on hose water, so
me too. So I do have to point out that I am slightly I feel like I'm hungover a little bit, because when I went in for the dental work today, they couldn't get the area around my tooth numb enough for them to pull it. They would try to pull it, and like I would feel it. And I'm like, no, I can still feel it. And so they kept hitting me with numbing agent. They used 4 different types of numbing medication just to get it numb enough to pull it. And so by the time all that medication like kicked in, my face was so numb I couldn't feel my eyelids blinking.
My ball lip is on the floor.
Yeah, like I came home, I laid down, I woke up in a pool of drool, like I was just my whole face was numb. And when it finally wore off, I actually felt like kind of hungover from it. Like,
Leave me spit. My ball lip is on the floor.
So thank you for joining us tonight for episode 167, Celebrity Vampires. We hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family by supporting us on Patreon or buying our merchandise at teespring.com. You can now text us any comments, questions, recommendations, whatever it is you want to say to us at 904-867-4466. Again, don't forget to check out my guest spot on the back. Yeah. Don't forget to check out my guest spot on Back to the Blockbuster next week. I am so like, I have like so much saliva in my mouth right now. It's really nasty. Back to the Blockbuster next week, and check out my new novel that I just published. That's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble's Isolation.
It's a coffee table book.
Yeah. just all pictures of me sitting in the corner looking sad.
With empty bottles of bourbon. Isolation.
Don't forget to stop by the Crossroads between Pickled and Fermented next time around for episode 168. I'm really looking forward to this one. It should be a fun one. We are going to be doing a recasting episode. We haven't done one of these in a while. We are going to be recasting you for the 50th anniversary of this film, Young Frankenstein. This is probably sacrilege, but I'm still looking forward to doing it.
It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah. In the meantime, I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
This has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.